Sparking Change with Gigi, a show that aims to make the world a better place by bringing together authentic minds. This show encourages each of us to be the change we wish to see in the world. Get ready to be inspired and join us on this journey to create a brighter future for all.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me on today's Sparking Change with Gigi. We're going to be talking about how do we embrace our gifts and truly tap into our potential. Today's guest is going to talk to us how she did it and how we can all really rise together to be the best version of ourselves. So I'm going to welcome here Kiara Sharp. Hello, Kiara. She is a spiritual advisor for Napoleon Institute and the president of the Australian division. I'm so grateful that you have taken this invitation to come on and join me today, Kiara. You've been truly a mentor to me to help me tap into my potential and my gifts, and I am forever grateful. But I'd like to definitely, have everyone hear your story as well, because it's through our stories that we realize that we're all the same and truly want the best and tap into our potential to become the best version of ourselves. So please share with us your story.
Giovanna, thank you so much. Thank you for the invitation. This is an absolute privilege. It's wonderful to be here.
Thank you.
So, wow, when you ask about stories, I'm sort of taken back to different stages of life. For me, I've gone through different stages. Every time we become a higher version of us, something happens to take us to that next level. It doesn't have to be massively big, but, there's always a shift that happens. And one time, I think there were a couple of moments before this, but on the year before my 30th birthday, you'll hear by my accent that I'm from Australia. I was living in Sydney at the time, and my family lived in Victoria. And the way my transformation happened back then was through illness, and it can often happen that way with people. Our bodies talk to us. And in fact, after this incident, I went on to teaching about how our bodies talk to us through whether we're filled with well-being or illness. I always look at what it's trying to say. But back then, I was kind of getting into all of this. And I need to say right off the bat that my name is Kiara. That's the name I was born with. But up until the age of 30, I was known as Kerry in the world. And I'll tell you how that came about and how the change to Kiara came about. So before I turned 30, about 8 months before, I was suffering from ear infections, lots and lots of ear infections, where I was dizzy constantly. And living in Sydney, I had back pain, neck pain. I had so much going on, and I was forever wondering why I was going through this. And remember that I was Kerry at the time. I had a life in Sydney. I had friends. And leading up to my 30th birthday, I was really unwell. And my family flew up to Sydney to be with me, to celebrate. And this one day, my mum and I got into a cab, and we sat in the back seat, and I was feeling so unwell, but I knew I needed to go shopping to get some things for the party.
Right.
And this Russian taxi driver was driving us. His name was Zorab. I truly believe he was an angel in human form. And I believe that angels in human form appear for us at different times. It's just whether or not we're aware of it. And I know for sure, yes, I'm sure you do. He looked at me in the rearview mirror, and he said to me, because I noticed him glancing a lot at me, and he said to me, "Look, I have to ask you, are you okay? You look unwell." And I said, "I am unwell." And he was driving us home from where we'd been, And he said, look, I know you don't know me. I'm a stranger. I'm Russian. I'm your taxi driver. But I can do your numerology. I feel like I need to do your numerology to see what's going on.
Wow.
And I'd never had numerology at this point, but I was very drawn to anything spiritual. But it was like there was something I
Got
hadn't yet
curious.
delved fully into it, right? So then he offered that, and I said, without even thinking, I said, yes, okay, when you drop us off at home, you can come in for a cup of tea and do my numerology. And my mum, of course, she looked at me like I had two heads, wondering, what are you doing, inviting this strange man into your home?
Yeah.
And anyway, I did it. I said, just trust me. I feel that this is right. So he stopped. He didn't charge me for the fare. And we went inside. Mum walked into the kitchen to make us a cup of tea, and he asked me for a piece of paper and a pen. And he wrote out my name on this page. And at the time, it was Kerry Louise Tino, and Louise was my confirmation name. And so he wrote it out, and he looked at it for a while, and he said, I'm not getting anything from this name. And I said, what do you mean? He said, I can't read this. Like, there's nothing coming to me. And I said, well, it's my name. And he said, no, it's not. And like, you can imagine what was going through my head. I'm like, do I exist? Like, why is he not seeing anything in my name?
Yeah.
Anyway, we argued back and forth a little bit. And he finally got up and he went into the kitchen and he said to Mum, your daughter's name, what's her name? And she said, Kerry. He said, no, it's not. What was she born with? What name was she given at birth? And he said, oh, Chiara, that's my mother-in-law's name, but that's not her name. Her name is Kerry. And he said, and I'll never forget this. I heard him say it to Mum, and you can imagine, I mean, you know, she's of Italian descent, so
Sure.
we carry guilt a little bit more than a lot of people. And he said to her, this is why your daughter's unwell. She's not living by her soul name.
Wow.
And he came into the lounge room. He came back and sat next to me. And I said to him, did you have to say that to her? Like, she will feel guilty now.
Yeah,
he said, it's okay. You'll all heal from this. He said, now, your name is this. And he wrote Chiara. He said, okay, it's starting to come now. And he wrote it out, and he basically read Kerry Chiara Tino, and he started to get some things for me. And then he changed it. He knocked out the Kerry and the Louise and made it Chiara. And when he read it as Chiara Tino, Tino's my maiden name, my dad's name, he said, okay, this is where your life is going. He said, you're a healer. You will heal your life to the point of being able to help heal others, and you're going to make a massive difference in the world. It's not going to happen overnight, but this is why you're here. Your name means clarity. You're here to give clarity to others and why they're here.
How beautiful. How beautiful.
And I couldn't believe it. So he sent me on this journey. He sent me to a kinesiologist after that to help heal me. And he said to me, change your name to Kerry Chiara Tino for 12 months. So you bring Chiara into your life slowly and it's not a shock to your life. But in 12 months' time, I want you to wipe out Chiara and Louise. Kerry and Louise. They have no bearing on your life. You must step into Chiara.
And that was your beginning of. Wow.
That was my big turning point. That from there, I was introduced to spiritual healing, to Reiki, to the chakra healing side of things, and all things metaphysics. That's where it all began.
And it's so funny, through, illness, to trying to figure out what's wrong with you. Like, why are you having these ear infections? And it's, to me, we say the physical body it talks to us through the illnesses, through aches and pains, right? Because it's trying to say something is not right within us. And I believe for me, it was the same journey with the cancer. The cancer to me was saying something is not right. And like yourself, I went into energy healing as well to heal the body. First, the energy in our body is so important, and we don't realize that the energy that we carry, when something is not right, the physical, it'll manifest into the physical body in some way. So I can totally relate to, your journey, in like, I can just see myself in the same light as you, because we know that now it's time to refocus our thinking and our thoughts, because now we know we have a new level of awareness of, wow, there's a
Yes.
whole spiritual side that controls our life that we don't really pay attention to until
Yeah.
we become aware.
And the way that we become aware oftentimes is when we hit adversity, like illness, like something that really has us sit up and take notice. And for me too, it was the importance of living by your soul name. And since then, I've helped a lot of people with changing their name as well. It's interesting how many clients I've had over the years who have come to me because they haven't resonated with their name. And the minute
Because
they
it's not,
change it, and it may not even be something that they were born with, but they resonate with a particular name. And so I help them transition into that, and they become more of who they're meant to be. It's very
meant to
interesting.
be.
Mm.
This is really going to the core of who we are, right? So when we're tapping to our potential, our gifts, first we need to understand who we are. And when I entered into the personal development arena, I've gotten so much, I don't know, the doors open up to unlimited knowledge that I never knew existed. With Napoleon Hill's teaching, Bob's teachings, and understanding how the mind and our thoughts really shape our reality, and and help us to embrace our gifts, because
Yeah,
that's really what we're trying to do when we're here, is trying to figure out, what do we love, what can we offer, how can we be of service.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so beautiful.
Yeah, and we've got to remember too, and through Bob and Napoleon, that the mind is in every cell of the body. So
Yes.
when we're not thinking divine thoughts, when we're not thinking in line with our purpose, that's when our bodies can feel dis-ease. It
Not
starts
a
with,
body that's not at ease. Exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
and so, yeah, our thinking, everything starts with a thought. And the emotions behind those thoughts. Mm.
I truly believe that as well. We tend to not consider our feelings as much, and our emotions, because we are just too busy doing a lot of things. And one strategy that I know that I use now is to enjoy the present moment for what is here, right? And not making our mind take us to the future, because we really don't know what the future brings, and the past. So these thoughts that we have, I've learned to control these thoughts. We can control the thoughts. We can redirect our life in the direction that we want it to go,
Mm.
obviously. But there's times when we're going through difficult times that our mind takes us on another path. And the reason for that is because I feel like we don't have goals. We don't have something that we're aiming for. We call it, we're drifting.
Yeah.
We're drifting because we don't have goals and we don't know what our purpose is. How can we provide some advice to people who really are not even sure what their goals are, or what they are, what their purpose is? I mean, because this is what we help people do at Napoleon Hill Institute. It's find a goal, find what you love to do, and
Yeah.
become focused and dedicated.
Yeah.
Um, And it all starts there.
Yeah. And so how I help people find it is, first of all, you're not going to work it out unless you're willing to ask yourself what it is that you want. It
Sure.
starts with that question: what do I want? And so many people, I've discovered, don't know, or they say, I don't know. I don't know. And I say, well, you do. You just haven't allowed yourself to go there. Allow
Right.
yourself to go there. Like, ask the question and then open your heart to receiving the answer. And I find too that what's really great is, when you're taking someone through a process, or when you're anyone watching this, if you don't know what you want, it's like, just place your hand on your heart.
Mm-hmm.
There's something powerful about placing your hand on your heart and asking, what do I truly want? Why am I here? What do I want for me? And then open up to receive the answer. And even if you don't receive it in that moment, you will move about your day and inspiration will come, or you'll get into a conversation that sparks that thought and you go, oh, maybe it's that resonates with me. That's what I think I want to do. But you have to ask yourself that question first.
Of course. And the answers always lie within us.
Yeah.
We know that. And we truly are. I was living in a world where I was looking on the outside for answers. And I knew that it was never there for me, because you're not feeling fulfilled because you're following something else. You're following someone who told you to go here or do this and do that, but you're not following your heart and soul. And when you start to follow your heart and soul, that is when you feel fulfilled. You feel like you're doing something that is not only helping you, but helping others. And I really think all our gifts, we all come here with different gifts, whether we, play the piano, or whether we are a hairdresser, or we all come with these gifts that will light up our lives because we're lighting up other people's lives.
Yes.
And we're trying to find what it is. And that's the work that we have to do within answering our own questions, going within to answer questions.
And the key too, I found for myself personally, as well as many others, is that there's this fear around actually going there and working out what it is that you want, for fear of what others will say, what other people around you will say. Will they support you? Will they encourage you? I truly believe that is the biggest, can be the biggest way that people stop themselves by going for it, because they're afraid of what people will think, or where will this take me, or whatever else. And yet it is the one thing that actually raises, how do I say it, raises your self-image, but it also improves relationships when you're living your purpose. I know that's hard to believe for some people, but it has everything harmonize when you're living on purpose, doing what it is that you want, and inspiring others to do the same, and loving everyone where they are.
Beautiful said. Absolutely. And, it's the change that we're afraid to have, or to do, or to make, because we're so comfortable. We get so comfortable that the only way to reach our true potential is to get uncomfortable. And so we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come back and talk about how important it is to really be disciplined when you are ready to make that change in your life and see the transformation. We'll be right back.
This visit brings us to the sixth principle of success. It is the principle of self-discipline. Self-discipline, therefore, is the means by which the Creator provided us with a method of embracing and using the only thing over which we have unchallengeable control, the power of our own thoughts. And it is the means by which we may discover that other self we carry around with us.
The other self. It's the you that's always been there, lying dormant, waiting to rise. It's the you who rises before dawn, who conquers distractions, who stays the course no matter what. It's the you who never backs down, who never quits. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. And every step you take moves you closer to your dreams. It's not about where you start. It's about how far you're willing to go and the person you're willing to become.
You know, it's so good to know that if you really want to change and you have a burning desire to change and be a better version of yourself, it comes down to discipline.
Yeah.
Making a commitment to yourself.
Yes. And that's perfect in line with what I said earlier is, you know, it's about staying focused no matter what others say, no matter what you did before. You have to do, if you want something to change, you must be willing to do something different. And, you know, it's about being disciplined. It's about doing whatever it takes. And there's so many things we can do in line with that discipline. It's like, you know, writing out what it is that you want every day. There's so much power in writing it out in a journal and getting emotionally involved with that, feeling it already done. That's another discipline, a form of discipline that helps manifest.
Yes, and we're not taught that way. You know, in school, we're taught we must, and I said this last week with Cleona, we're taught to see it first and then believe. And the truth of the matter is we must see ourselves there.
Yeah.
Because to unleash, yeah.
No, what you said is see it first. And I know that when we grew up, we were told it was like you had to see it out there before you believe it, but you actually have to see it in your mind first. See it in your mind to believe it and get emotionally involved with it. Everything starts in our mind. Yeah.
And feeling it that it's going to happen and keep going and not, you know, not be defeated by any challenges, because challenges are just a stepping stone to getting there. Yeah. Because if you knew how to do it, you wouldn't have any challenges, obviously. But becoming a better version of yourself, once you have that level of awareness, then you become a new version of yourself. You know, I studied Dr. Wayne Dyer, and he's like, where is that me when I was, you know, 8 years old? And where was that me when I was 9 and 10? You know, it's gone. That body's not here anymore. So we keep our level of awareness expands the more we continue to study our potential and continue to push ourselves to see the more we can do, the more we can have, and the more we can be. But we have to be it first. We have to be in that state of mind first.
Yeah, we have to see it in our mind. We have to imagine that it's already done. We have to feel the feeling of it already done. And what that does is it raises our vibration to attract the cooperative components of that, to attract that into actually showing up. It's all
Kara,
vibrational.
let's talk about that a little bit, because not a lot of people are aware of the vibration, being in the vibration of receiving. You know, it's, and again, I emphasize being in the vibration. And when we're being, that means we're not doing anything, right? We're not physically doing something with our hands and working with our hands, with our physical body. Being is a state of mind.
It
And
is.
it's tapping into that state of, you know, visualizing to
Yeah.
receive, you know, I mean, you know, you're definitely the expert on that end, but let's talk about that on having the
Yeah.
vibration of receiving.
Yes. Everything's vibrational. Everything that we attract into our life is due to our vibration. The vibration of our thoughts then affects the vibration of our body, and we emanate that out and attract what it is. So that goes with anything that we attract. Anything that we don't want is vibrationally attracted by us because of some thoughts that we've been carrying. And so it's really important to understand that. And the most wonderful part of that is that once we become aware of that, we can change it. We can change it with a new thought. That's the thing to celebrate is, oh my gosh, I have control over this. I can change my thinking to raise my vibration to matching what it is that we want. That's so important to get. Like some, people go, oh, well, it's because of that person or that happened that this is why I'm experiencing this. Well, no, actually, it's our vibration, our way of thinking, whatever we got caught up in through collective consciousness and people all over the world thinking certain things, we get caught up in that. And so that's why it's so important to come back to being laser focused and going, this is the change I want for the world. This is what I want for my life. And then focus and be disciplined on focusing just on that outcome that you're wanting. That shifts the vibration.
That's so well said. I relate it to just a simple thing of us getting up in the morning. If you get up in the morning and I think it was something that Bob showed us. You get up in the morning, you stomp your foot in your foot, and you're in a bad vibration. You're angry already. Then you get in the car and you're driving to work and you hit traffic and you're late to work. And then you get to the office and you make coffee and you drop coffee on yourself. And this is all that vibration, that negative vibration. And you come home and, honey, how was your day? And my day was horrible, because of the vibration that we're in, right? And when you said change your thoughts, you can change your state of being, which now creates a new vibration.
In any given moment, it can change through a thought. You don't have to wait till you go to bed at night. I mean, if you have to, if you get to the end of the day and you realize I haven't had a great day, you go to sleep and imagine, this is what I do and what I say to my clients is like, go to bed, look back on your day and review it. This is something that Neville Goddard teaches.
Yeah.
You review your day the way you wanted it to go. Even if it didn't go that way, review those parts in your day that you would have liked to have turned out differently. Review them to go the way you wanted, and then see the day tomorrow the way you want it to go as you fall asleep. And that can change everything. It's such a powerful, fun exercise to do.
Because when you're going to sleep, your subconscious mind is at work, right? And whatever you're soaking in for 8 hours that you're sleeping, the next day you'll actually manifest some of those things.
Yeah.
And people are not taught this. This is part of, what we teach. This is part of learning about how your mind really operates so that you can take control of your mind and your thoughts. And once you learn how to shift the thinking to enhance your life, you're never going to go back. You'll always catch yourself, like you said, to redirect with the thoughts that you really want to have for yourself. And it takes practice, it takes commitment, it takes discipline. But it's so true because we do create our reality, and that is how we create our reality.
Yeah. And the word you used was practice. Like, we've practiced a certain way of thinking for so long in, in those areas where that are, not so desired. We've practiced a certain way of thinking to get that result. So it naturally then takes conscious thinking and practicing that new way of thinking to turn it around and create something new. And it can happen as fast as you choose to practice it, as much as you choose to practice it, and feeling the feeling of it. That's it.
Yeah.
And that builds your belief, your sense of faith, everything. It just, it starts to really move things towards that new way of thinking.
You said a magic word there, which was belief, right? It's knowing and believing that if you really want to change, there's beliefs that need to shift, about your self-image, about yourself, and what do you believe about money and work. All these beliefs I will say that I've learned through my journey that some of them they weren't even mine. I inherit them, right? I remember someone said, well, if you didn't experience it, it's not your belief, it's someone else's belief.
Yeah.
And those are the things that actually stop us from reaching our potential, because we've heard it so many times. No one else did that. What makes you think you can do that?
Yes.
But when you start to study every day like we do, you begin to see that what has been, or what we've never been exposed to, the information that helps us to truly become a better version of ourselves. We've only been pretty much guided to do what everybody else does. This is, these are the steps you have to take to be this or that, but never to really tap into further and, to really discover that our gifts.
I love what you're saying, Giovanna, because yes, we often tap into what others have said, and we've kind of adopted those as our own thoughts and beliefs. But the other flip side of that is that we each have to keep in mind how powerful we are towards other people. Like, what are we thinking for others? How are we seeing their potential? Are we building people, or are we thinking towards them that, then that person's not going to do that, or you couldn't possibly do that? Like, it's so important that we're all aware that our thinking makes a difference, whether it's the thinking towards ourselves or another person. So we need to always be in check and make sure that we're encouraging and seeing the greatness in others, and encourage their dreams, want the best of what they want for themselves, regardless of where it takes them. Just
Yes, I totally agree. I don't know where I read this, but it says what we speak first applies to us. And then even though we put it out there, it's first attaching to us. Yeah. So if we say, we love someone, then yes, we love ourselves. Mm-hmm. If we're wishing someone bad, it's actually wishing ourselves bad first, because we're saying it twice. Once we're verbalizing it, which means it's meant for us, and the other, it's going out there. So I really believe that the power of the words that we speak affect us as well.
Oh, absolutely. Right? Absolutely. And again, it reiterates the power of vibration. So when we think negatively about someone else or their situation or whatever, it lowers our vibration. It lowers our attraction ability for whatever it is that we want. See, this is where, when you start to really think about it, you will definitely keep a check on what you're thinking, because it ultimately will always affect our own vibration. Whether we're thinking about us or someone else, it's going to affect us and our attraction to whatever it is that we want.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, this is where we also get into into the emotions of faith, love, and gratitude, right? When we're saying great things, when we're wishing good things on others, it will bounce right back to us. You know, sometimes I go by the water and I say, look at the beautiful water, but I couldn't see the water being beautiful if I didn't feel that I was beautiful.
Yeah.
Or I couldn't see the beauty in someone if I don't see it in myself. So it's so important that we really learn how to see it first within us.
Yes.
You know, this is where the personal development for me was huge in understanding who I am and how I view myself. Because I couldn't be I couldn't be here helping anyone if I didn't do the work on myself first.
Yeah.
And try to help others.
Yeah. That's why that term self-development is so important.
Yeah.
Or self-study. Studying yourself, discovering what it is that you want, discovering your magnificence, then has you see the magnificence in others. Like that's something that I've practiced for many years, and I've developed it very, very well. I see the greatness in others. I do, and I express it. And I know
you do. I know you do.
I have them believe in my belief for them until they discover it for themselves. But I just see the greatness, and you're right, Giovanna. It does come from loving yourself. There was a time in my life I didn't love myself at all, and it was, you know, it was after the time of my name change when I started to get into all of that spiritual work, and then I did a lot of work with Tony Robbins, and there was another growth spurt that I had working with him. And it's like, wow, I really didn't like myself that much at all. I wanted to help other people, but I was stopped because I realized, well, I can't fully help another unless I help me and love me fully.
And, you know, our past, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, and I was just going to say, and we're a work in progress. There's always more.
Yes.
There's always more.
Yes, of course. You know, there's through the teachings, I know I've learned there's 4 major components in life that we should, as we grow to become a better version of ourselves, is 1, love yourself unconditionally. 2, and this is from Gary, not Gary Glass, Gary Chappell. And I'll never forget it. It's like stuck in my mind. 1 is love yourself unconditionally. 2 is forgiveness, right? Forgive those who hurt you, because you're really opening up your heart to receive when you do that. 3, do not judge anyone, because when you're judging people, you're judging yourself. And 4, do those 3 with intention. Be intentional. You know, love yourself intentionally. Make time for yourself. Forgive intentionally, not just say forgive. I forgive you and go on. Forgive with an open heart. And you know, don't judge. Don't judge. And I think those are such a great foundation to help someone become a better version of themselves and find their gifts. Because when you're doing things with love, you're going to open up to be the better version of yourself. For sure.
Absolutely. Because you're raising your vibration. All of those things you just spoke about, they raise our vibration, and they raise the vibration of people everywhere. They raise the vibration of the planet. If we want peace on Earth, we need to create peace within ourselves.
Absolutely. Everything starts with us.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to take another commercial break and talk about this commercial. We'll be right back.
What is it that you desire more than anything? What is it that you really want? What is the formula for overflowing abundance? As the sun rises over New York City, the cityscape is bathed in a golden glow. The Gilded Age was a time of unprecedented wealth and opulence, as the elite built towering skyscrapers and ornate mansions that were the envy of the world. Andrew Carnegie, one of the wealthiest men of his generation, would one day meet a young man named Napoleon Hill, who went on to become one of the most influential thinkers of the era and author of Think and Grow Rich, Changing the World Forever.
Here's Reverend Ike. Reverend Ike, what is your message?
I have retranslated that portion of the Bible that says the love of money is the root of all evil to read the lack of money is the root of all evil.
I'll ask you each this question, beginning with you, Reverend Ike. How is it that man can have the healing power?
I teach each person that the presence of God, the presence of good, whatever you call God, is within you.
Somewhere out there, watching on television right now, there's a man, there's a woman, there's a boy, there's a girl listening to me. And we're here to tell you today that if you believe, God will work a miracle for you.
The Prosperity Summit will be the catalyst for the achievement and earned riches you've been waiting for. Learn from the masters and expect abundance.
It's amazing, right? I mean, this is coming up shortly, and sharing the wisdom and the knowledge of all these masters to help us really see that there's a whole world that we haven't tapped into until we decide to do the inner work.
Yeah. And two of the greats, Napoleon Hill and Reverend Ike, right there. Like, they're just two of the greats. I've been studying Reverend Ike for many years. So when it all came about that we would be partnering with Mark Victor Hansen and doing this event, sharing their teachings and these incredible speakers coming in to share, their words of wisdom and how they grew. It's going to be a beautiful, amazing event where people are going to really tap into the ways in which they can create true prosperity and abundance.
Absolutely. And I think that is just the beginning of the great work that we're doing at the Napoleon Hill Institute, because it's really helping people find their gifts and live better lives, right? And we do that only by becoming aware and knowledge and learning from a whole different perspective.
Yes.
I as an educator, I almost want to say that there's some things that we have to unlearn and relearn to see that there's a beautiful world out there that we are not aware of.
Yes.
And through these webinars and what we offer, it really gives the opportunity for people to, see how they can become happier, because happiness starts within. We look at the outside world to see how can we be happy, but that's only temporary.
Yep.
Right? A new car, a new house, a pocketbook, this is all temporary. But when you start tapping into your inner self to see what makes you happy, what do you want? Like you said before, Kiara, what do you really want? Now you're tapping into something that's going to make you happy for life.
That's a really good point, Giovanna. So, everyone here watching this registers into this event during the week. It starts, I think, when is it? Tuesday over there. Like, it's not long now, just a matter of hours. When you register, set the intention that this is going to change your life. This is going to be the game changer for you really tapping into what it is that you want and bring it forth. treat this as something that's really going to grow you. Be committed to growing you and becoming more of who you are. This is the opportunity that you have through this event.
And this, to me, I see this as a free gift. It's a free gift because obviously there's no charge for the events, but it's a free gift from our heart to their heart, right? For them to see what they can really tap into, because everyone that's going to be speaking was where we are, where they are. And they made the commitment to themselves to change, to want more, to be more and do more. And I know it's scary and there's fear, but we can't be in fear and faith at the same time.
Yeah.
And tapping into the faith to know that we deserve more in life, that we should not be suffering. That is not why we came here to live and be on this earth. It's come here to share our gifts.
You know, that reminds me that everything you're saying has sparked a thing in me where I want to say, you want to just do this work, this event, whatever you do on your self-growth journey, do it with joy. It doesn't have to be serious. It's a joyful journey. And whatever you uncover, and as you said, Giovanna, whatever you unlearn to relearn, let it go with joy. Thank it. It brought it to where you are right now. And now you can learn a new way. You can step into a new version of you and do it joyfully. And there is a goal that has worked for me. It was actually the goal that I first did for myself when I was a Procter Gallagher consultant with Bob.
Yes.
I'm so happy and grateful that I now live joyfully free and who I am meant to be. And I still say that today. I still say that today. Borrow it, use it. It is so powerful. It can change the trajectory of your life in moments. I am joyfully free and who I am meant to be. There's joy in there. There's freedom in there. And there's the higher version of you in there. And if you say it and feel it, I still feel it. Like it's still very relevant for me because there's always a more joyful, free version of me coming and here. And so
when we're in that state of joy, things just come, things come to us.
That's it. That's it.
And believing that the state of joy is a high vibration, right? And not only is it for you, but you're spreading it out to the world, like you said before.
Yes.
And I think all of us here have a part to play in this beautiful world. Some people realize it and some people don't, but everything that we think and do and speak, it goes out into the universe. And it really impacts the world. So the more love we can share, and this is what we really teach, even within our own community, is to spread the love, right? Work from your heart. Our the work that we do has a spiritual component to it, because we know that without that, we're not going anywhere.
No. And in fact, we are spiritual beings. There's no getting away from it at all.
Right. And, I know this is one thing that I had to unlearn, is that we're spiritual beings in a human body. We're not a human body with a spiritual being.
Yeah.
And when you work from that spiritual sense, and that we're all the same, we're all one, and we should love each other, help each other, it just makes it for a better world.
Yes, absolutely. We are one. This is a whole other conversation.
I know.
We are one with infinite spirit. Like we are one with infinite spirit. And, and just know that no matter where your beliefs are at with anyone watching this, no matter where your beliefs are at with about your life and who you are, just know that you're magnificent. Know that you are here to live your magnificence. My mission through the work I do with NHI and everything I've ever done was to awaken the magnificence in others. But first I had to discover the magnificence in me, which I'm discovering more of every day. But my message really is just awaken to your own magnificence, because you're here to live it. You're here to live it.
Right. What is some advice you can give, Kara, to those who are just really having a difficult time right now because of the way the economy is, and just, this whole thing with COVID, and how can we support, those who are just not feeling like they see the benefit of what's going on?
Okay. Well, I think my advice is just condensed into what I said through this entire conversation is just come back to what it is that you want. Do the mind work. That's what I would say to people. Let yourself dream. Come back and allow yourself to dream and imagine the way you want your life to be. Sometimes when you're caught up in the stress and the anxiety of it all, it's the last thing you want to do, but you must do it. That is the thing that's going to change you, is to actually let yourself go there in your mind, what it is that you want. Be grateful. That's the other ththing. Be grateful for everything you have in your life. Practice gratitude for the people, for your health, for, the roof over your head. Whatever it is that you have, be grateful for it. Practice gratitude. That will be the fastest thing to have you feel better, is practice gratitude, and then come back and think, what is it that I want? And imagine your life in that state of having what you want. But start with gratitude.
Write it down. Yeah.
Gratitude.
Write it down.
Yeah.
Gratitude, write it down, right? We do gratitude every morning.
Yeah.
There's one thing I'm just thinking right now. Cleona had mentioned that Bob also said, go out and serve, right? Go out and serve. If you feel lack, if you feel like nothing's going right, go out and volunteer somewhere. Yeah. It definitely will bring you joy just to see the joy in others.
That's it.
Because truly you are in control. You are in control of your thoughts and your mind. No one can take that from you.
Yeah. And
you can shift the thinking if you really want to, quickly.
Yeah.
Go out for a walk, right? Gratitude. Go out for a walk. Change the environment. Because there is that higher self within you that knows there's more for you. There's more goodness in you, that you deserve more.
Yeah.
And
when you do those things that Giovanna's just mentioned, when you practice gratitude, when you look to serve, and simply going for a walk and looking around you and being grateful, that is going to open you up to all that is good, to all that you're wanting, to all the inspiration in which ways you can serve. But the gratitude is the number one thing to get you out of the funk. Yep.
I said in my other show that gratitude is a line that is directly connected to God and source, infinite intelligence, whatever you want to call it. And when you give gratitude, you will receive what you need in order to have that peace, that inner peace. So that is so beautiful to just know that there's always a solution. We are the problem. We are the solution. I always say that.
Literally, yes.
But any final thoughts, Kara?
No, there's just That was a beautiful conversation. I hope that everyone gets something out of this. I hope everyone registers for the event this week. It's going to be recorded. If you miss it live, it will be available on YouTube. And don't just make it something that you watch. Make it something that you fully participate in for yourself. Fully participate.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us today on Sparking Change with Gigi. And again, please, you can go to Sparking Change now, and there is a link to register if you are able to attend, or if not, either way, you get the recording. But this is going to be one spectacular event that will truly change the way you're thinking, and will help you to be a better version of yourself. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next week. Thank you so much, Kara, for attending.
Thank you, Giovanna.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you for joining me on Sparking Change with Gigi. I hope that our episode today has ignited a spark within you to create positive change in your own life and in the world around you. To learn more about how you can become a guest or supporter, head over to sparkingchangenow.com. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider subscribing, sharing, and leaving a review. Your feedback is incredibly valuable to me, and it helps me to continue producing content that sparks change in each of us and the world. You can find us on various platforms, including Google Play Store, Apple App Store, YouTube, Facebook, Roku, Android TV, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Thank you again for watching, and I look forward to having you join me again next week on Sparking Change.